This is one of the primary reasons why the majority in crypto lose their trend and portfolio. Now, watch this. Right now, you just got a 3-day candle close, arguing that it's a hanging man candle. Now, if you do not know what that actually means, then you will have to go check out what that means. You will have to just go into the Google images, type that thing in, and see what happens when that candle forms. What are the different types of variations which you may see? Like some of them may have a long wick to the upside, longer wick to the downside. Some of them may not have any wicks to the upside. So you know what that really means. Now, where does the impact of such a candle happen with higher momentum, happen comparatively pretty quickly? Yeah, that is something I want you to understand right here, right now, because on your right side is a 3-day chart of Bitcoin showing you the current scenario. On your left side and here is 2021. Now, let's compare that first and then pick the alt market and total crypto market so you get a fine print of what you are about to watch over next 2 months, 3 months. So while we tune into the candlestick and what that shows you, you also have to keep in mind it's not just the candlesticks, the indicators in front of you matters, the macro chart matters, and that's where these individual candles signals, oh, I'm now lining up with the macro, be prepared. Yeah, now before we continue, if you haven't smashed the like button, do that for me. And if you want to join the party, being in the best crypto family in this era, you want to join using the link in the description below. You get all of these charts at the right time without much of a noise in the market, trying to keep you stable, anchored with the right data set. Now, you look at this. Right now, it showed you this. Now, what other things does that exact same chart show you? On a same time horizon, in the recent past, you see this, yeah? That's Jan 2025. You had a hanging man, which was not a textbook pattern. There was a lot of noise, volatility for sure. But then immediately after that, it became a textbook hanging man candle. Now, did it drop the very next day to the bottom? No, it did not. It actually took around a month to push the price to downside. Fine. Now, it's not only that you have the hanging man candle in front of you right here, right now. You already have a region where the buying strength is reducing. So this is a 3-day chart, so don't forget about it. You get to see the negative divergence on a 3-day chart. Whether you go into a weekly doesn't matter because it's already confirmed with a negative divergence. Say you want to confirm, put it on a weekly. You see this, yeah? You already have a fine print of weekly negative divergence in front of you. Now, that is on top of the monthly negative divergence, which has already been built and confirmed there. It's going to be noisy. It's going to be volatile. A lot of people will get screwed because they believe history really does not matter. Now, what kind of history? Yeah, watch. This was 3-day chart back in the days. Yeah, the price was going up, the RSI was going down, negative divergence, and you started forming a lower high. Good. And that lower high was formed with hanging man candles, after which you dropped 50% to the downside. Good. Now you have a base idea of what that means. Now, say you zoom out. Now you pick swing highs. Yeah, most likely that's visible clearly on a weekly chart rather than a 3-day chart. Yeah. Now watch. On a weekly chart, when you have such a huge negative divergence and it showed you a hanging man and a hammer together, that was the signal you're going down for sure. But what did the whales really do? They told you, don't care about that candle. It really doesn't matter. They pushed the price up. Boom. So from 63,300, they pushed it up to 69,000. A lot of people went back into the market bullish. Yeah, good. They went back in 500,000, million, 2 million, whatever they had, they jumped back in as a bull. Now, what happened at that point is what you have to keep in your mind. Immediately after that, do you notice this candle? That's manipulation. But you kind of get a signal of what they are doing first before they try to manipulate you. Yeah? So the buying strength was nowhere near the actual region. You got a negative divergence confirmed and then a fake out. So that is the history. They will not make it easy for you to make these gains. Fine. Now pick up the alt market day. This is the alt market in front of you. We'll pick up alt market on both sides. This is the current scenario of the alt market, and we'll zoom in on a 3-day chart of the alt market. You have the exact same candle in here with even bigger doji. Yeah, the shadow of that wick is too long. Now, you also notice the fact that it is right now close to the moving average, but above it for sure. Now, when you go back onto the same a 3-day chart of the alt market back in the day, the 2021-2022 cycle. Yeah. Now watch. When you confirmed the negative divergence, it was up here. Yeah, you already confirmed the negative divergence in here. The price still kept going up one more leg. A lot of people were trapped in there trying to get the new trend to the upside. Now, history shows you what happened after that. Yeah, so that was a 3-day negative divergence confirmed. Now, I want you to focus much more on the swing high, which is the weekly negative divergence. Yeah. Now, the micro weekly negative divergence was already confirmed here. Yeah, it's cool. But the swing, like this swing to this swing, the next one here, that was confirmed by this time horizon. Yeah, you got that negative divergence in here. Keep in mind, while you confirmed the weekly negative divergence, you started giving multiple hanging man candles. One here as a doji, yeah. Then a huge hanging man that kind of slowly pushed the price back down. And then there was another fake out. Now remember, those who went back in to get that top, they were screwed by the whales. So how many inverted hammers or hanging man or huge doji signs, the supply demand signals are in front of you? You have multiple. Yeah. The moment you confirmed a lower high, keep this in mind, and then you formed any hanging man, that was a continuation signal. So whether it's total alt market, whether it's total crypto market, whether it's Bitcoin, it really does not matter at this point. Your understanding and emotional stability matters. People out there will give you all the bullish news that you want, the perspective that you want to go bullish in this market. But I want to be a voice inside you which gives you the real information which is contrary from what they are saying. Truth is always weird. Understand that. Whether it's in life, whether it's in markets, truth is not always good. And if it's something very pleasing to listen to, you know it's not true. Yeah? If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, you know what it is. So now, if you just pick up one chart on a macro horizon, which is a monthly chart in here, you're watching, oh shit, what Danny just talked about on a 3-day, on a weekly, that shit is now visible on a monthly. Ooh, isn't that something? Yeah, because you already had a change in direction on a monthly, and now you have that doji. So what will be the July, August bring us? Now, at one point, I was thinking there should be a lot of fun to the upside in July, August. But then immediately all of that changed just with one liquidity switch of a war. That news flipped. Now watch what altcoins are doing. This is what I want you to understand. That was the total crypto market, which is biased because it follows Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance is heavy. Here you are, that doji, the hanging man with longer shadow to the downside, obviously, is still here. Now, watch how many of those candles were involved. Now, think about this. When you're making a top, you always used to do something like this. This time, it's even more. So, the whales really don't want you to understand it. Now, in last cycle, it was hammer showing you I'm about to drop. Maybe it's just a 50% drop. Maybe it's just a 70% drop. But they signaled you that was coming in front of you. Now, you go back into the Bitcoin side of the equation. You pick up the short term. A lot of people are really into the short term. Now, okay, I'll pick up the Solana because a lot of people were going long with the news narrative coming up about the staking. Now, I want you to be careful here. I want you to understand this. You had a resistance region, yeah, on which you formed a hammer. Not that you formed a hammer, just with the next candle, you confirmed the hammer with a 3-candle reversal structure. That is known as a 3-candle reversal structure. Now, the very next candle tried to push it back up, but it did not breach this region. That shows you strong resistance. Now, that is a daily chart. You really have to go back, zoom out on a 3-day and ask, okay, what the hell is happening there? Okay, so you are making literally swing lows. This was a swing high, but here, lower lows and lower high is already formed. So are you gonna do this? We don't know. Okay, let's zoom out. You go on a weekly chart. This is where you are on a weekly. The last candle shows there's a bullish engulfing candle coming here. I may actually test this region or at least this as a resistance. Now, how much upside do you think you're going to get when you go long? 5%? 10%? And if you get rejected based on the monthly candle in here, what's your downside expectation? Because if you really honestly look at this doji, look at the shadow to the downside there. Now you know whether it's a bullish candle, whether it's a bearish candle like this, the hammer, it kind of gives you the idea, right? So look at the bottom here. You got the hammer, inverted hammer saying I'm going to go bullish, but then it kind of played out with the retail and then it moved out. So right now when it's showing you a hammer and an inverted hammer, do you think it's going to directly drop or stay here and then drop? In both ways, the game is going to one side. Now, it's a different story if you are going in short term at this structure with a higher risk tolerance because you have it, the ability and willingness to take risk. Going with a 5 to 10x leverage to short these 3 to 5% moves, good. It's up to you. But if you're not that guy who's going on a micro to do all these trading because your short-term capital gains doesn't make any sense to you, like 40-50% capital gains is nuts. But yeah, some of these regions, you guys do have that. So keep all of that in mind and the risk to reward. Because if your reward is this small and the risk is this big, it really does not matter as an investor. So I hope you understand this, and all of these narratives for the market, for individual assets will be plotted here, and a lot of them have already been plotted in front of you in this. Use the link in the description, get into the family, enjoy the real information. If you didn't smash that like button yet, please do that for me. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.